There's a term I love in life, synchronicity. I define that as chance with a purpose. And one fateful night, my life would change forever. I was flying from Chicago O'Hare to Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was United Flight 664. Finally get on this airplane, I walk through first class, and I see this kid. He catches me off guard because he's a corporal sitting in dress army greens. And I go sit in coach, and about an hour and a half or so later, we land in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As we pull up to the gate, the captain comes over the PA and says that we have an American hero on board. And my mind immediately jumps to this kid in first class, right? And it's like, what did he do? I'd just gotten back from my second tour of duty in Iraq flying the F-16, and he continues, the captain, by informing us that we are carrying the remains of Corporal Brock Buckland on this flight. And his identical twin brother, Corporal Brad Buckland, was in first class and has brought him those 7,000 miles home. Captain makes another request that everybody stay in their seats until his remains had been removed from the right cargo hold. And that night I watched The Other Side of War. As I looked out on the tarmac, the Bucklands on the darkest night of their lives. The thing that really got me, though, was his 4-year-old son. Sat right below the cargo ramp as that American flag draped coffin inched out. And the finality of the sacrifice hit me. The realities that this young boy would never play catch with his dad again. He would never be tucked in at night. And that term freedom isn't free didn't mean anything until I witnessed that. And as the ceremony finishes itself up, you know, I wipe away my tears, right, and I grab my backpack and I look back to the airplane only to see that more than half the plane had gotten off. No place to go, except that blanket of freedom we'll all sleep under each and every night, courtesy of 1% of this country that suits up every day, willing to defend and pay the ultimate sacrifice for the other 99%. And that was my moment of synchronicity. I knew with every fiber of my being that God had called me on a mission.
My name is Al Allward. My wife and I and our kids moved to Fishers in 1992. I was on military orders from the Navy to be the officer in charge of a command that was located at Fort Harrison.
My name is Edgar Holmes, and I work for the Fishers Police Department, and I'm currently assigned as the recruit officer for our agency.
My name is Jessica Stout. I'm an officer with the Fishers Police Department.
My name is Jonathan Kelly. I'm a firefighter with the Fishers Fire Department.
So my name is Indy Lane. I'm OBGYN. I serve as the physician executive of the Women's Product Line at Community Health Network. I also am the chief medical director of the Fishers Health Department.
My name is Rachel Strant. I work at IU Health Saxony Hospital in Fishers. I work both in the ER and in the ICU.
I am Kristen Dissler. I am the teacher librarian at Fall Creek Junior High.
I'm Deb McDaniel, and I retired from Eli Lilly Company. I was working in human resources, and when we joined the Red Cross, we started with the disaster relief like Jesse just talked about, but we've also included activities with SAF, which is Service Armed Forces.
I'm retired. I was a former occupational health and safety manager. I did that for a long number of years, and now just enjoying retirement.
I was an officer at a different police department in another state, and I moved to Indiana and transferred to the Fishers Police Department as a lateral officer. When I was interested in becoming an officer, I started asking around to other officers in the state and asked them, if you could work anywhere, where would you work? And most people said Fishers. So I put my application in here and did the process, and I was successful my first time around. So that was about 7 years ago.
It was just on a whim. I actually was just applying for agencies close to the Indianapolis area. I first became interested in law enforcement at the age of 10. I had a cousin who was the lieutenant for the Gary Police Department. I looked up to him and the things he did, so I always wanted to go to school and pursue a life in law enforcement. And Fishers was just one of the things that came across, and I applied for them, and I was fortunate enough to get on.
I was on military orders from the Navy to be the officer in charge of a command that was located at Fort Harrison. It was run by the Department of Defense. All the services were represented there, and we settled in thinking this was going to be a 3-year assignment. The government closed the base. We got an advisory that said you had 6 months to decide what you're going to do. And rather than move to Fort Meade, Maryland, we had a little family powwow, and our daughter, who was at Hamilton Southeastern and up to her eyebrows and cheering and such, she didn't want to move, so we retired from the Navy and stayed here, and best decision we ever made.
I got involved probably early on. I've had family that was in the fire service. My father's a firefighter with the Indianapolis Fire Department. I also had an uncle who was a firefighter. I've had several cousins, so definitely had family ties with the fire service, so I had an early influence early on in my life.
I'm born and raised in Indiana, went to Purdue University and got my elementary ed degree and got placed in a library over on the west side, Ben Davis School Corporation, and then I ended up in HSE, and I've been a school librarian ever since.
My mom was a nurse and went to nursing school when I was very young. She brought me with to classes, to the simulation lab. I have a lot of memories of my childhood, looking through her textbooks, playing with some of the equipment and the mannequins, as well as attending classes. I also got to be involved with her local chapter of American Association of Critical Care Nurses. I attended 2 national conferences before I even graduated high school, so you could say critical care nursing is in my blood.
When we were watching the news way back before we retired, and Hurricane Katrina came through, and that was such a devastation in the South, and when we saw that, we got to thinking about that's something we would like to go and help. Well, we couldn't. We were not retired at the time, and so we didn't have that availability, but we thought, well, as soon as we retire, we're going to do it. So we started, like you mentioned, we both retired at the end of 2009. So in 2010, we started our training, and then it just kind of took off from there.
Wow, so I think that I was always fascinated by particularly women's health and how women could grow a baby and have a baby. And so I think my initial interest in healthcare began just with my fascination with pregnancy and childbirth. And then I think that opportunity to teach not only women but people about healthcare, to be an advocate, to help people during very trying times in their lives also is what drew me to healthcare. Just, that feeling that you get when you feel as though you are lending a helping hand or making people feel better, being able to fix a problem. I think it's what attracted me to healthcare in general.
I love being an advocate for my patients. When someone is critically ill, they can't take care of themselves, they can't even vocalize what they need, and I love standing in the gap for someone, making sure what they need is being taken care of in a timely and safe fashion. Nothing gives me more job satisfaction than knowing that what I did made someone better, or at the very least prevented further injury.
I think my favorite part of my job is watching the kids grow and learn. They change so much from coming in as 7th graders and leaving as 8th graders, almost freshmen. And so I love to watch how they grow during those years.
My favorite part of the job, I would say, would be the people I work with. Personally, I think we have some of the best firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, in the state and probably around the country. The knowledge base within the department is amazing. So I'd definitely say the favorite part for Fishers Fire Department is definitely the people I get to work with.
Yeah, and I think this whole idea of giving back is really important to us. We've been very lucky. We've had good careers, good education. We've been able to do a lot of things, and now being able to give back to the community and to the country, in different parts of the country has been really nice.
My favorite part about my job is connecting with our community, especially kids and teenagers. It's a lot of times people's first interaction with the police when they meet me, so I feel like it's a chance to leave a good impression on them and let them know that we're really here to help them.
I would have to say my coworkers. I enjoy coming to work. I think I work with a lot of good men and women who all have the same goal, different jobs, different tasks, but we all work towards the same goal, and just the energy that most of them have on a day-to-day basis makes coming to work easy.
I think it's the relationships. I think working with people, I often say that we're more alike than we are different, and so all of the different roles that I have just reinforces that to me. The ability to help people, again, to educate, all of those things are what motivate me to be able to see change and progress. I'm also very motivated by seeing progress and, just using the health department as an example, to see some of these things come full circle where we were waiting sometimes 1 to 2 weeks for COVID testing results, and now we're able to offer walk-in availability for the COVID vaccine. I mean, that's, pretty amazing progress in a short period of time. The people that tell you how much the health department made a difference for them, or the people that stop me and tell me about their birth experience or how I may have touched their lives, that motivates you to get up every day. The people at the end of the patients that I have at the end of a surgery, or again those that I've delivered their babies, that you realize how much you have impacted their life. Each day, and even just being a resident of Fishers, to see the children that I have delivered and the men and women who have been a part of a very important time in their life over the years, I'm always touched by that. I think that as time goes on and I see my own children grow, I am deeply impacted by my ability to just be a part of their lives.
For my current position, I would have to say just knowing that, loving the community that I live in, knowing that I have to bring officers like myself to continue to serve this community. So when I come, that's my mission, is to get officers who have the same capacity and the same motivation to be a servant to Fishers community. So that's what brings me back every day.
Every day that I come to work is a day that I have a chance to change someone's viewpoint about police officers and what law enforcement does as a profession. I get to give somebody a chance to see day to day what we do and how we help people, and leave them walking away with a better image of law enforcement.
What keeps me coming back from day after day, I would say, is the community. And like I said earlier, the people I get to work with. Everything about the community is just so uplifting. Even on runs, we interact with so many polite people who just love to see us there. And then, like I said, be able to work with some of the greatest people, I think, in the state on this department. So I think that's what keeps me coming back day after day.
What keeps me coming back day after day is the relationships I've built with the students. I really enjoy, having them come into the library and telling me something exciting that happened at their house or in their life. And so, it's the relationships.
My coworkers, I work with some of the finest and the absolute best. I know that when I walk through those doors, I'm going to see friendly faces, and I'm going to have a team behind me to support me in any worst case scenario. I really appreciate the small town feel of Fishers, yet the opportunities for more diverse experiences are rapidly growing. I feel like there's a lot of potential here.
I think my favorite part of being in the Fishers community is seeing the growth that's happening. There's a lot of things going on daily here in Fishers. I'd started about 15 years ago, smaller town at that time, now a bigger city. more events. There's a lot of happenings here in Fishers, so I really enjoy that about this community.
I would say it would be the hospitality of the citizens. Every time we go on a run, we're met with such gratitude for being on the run, and just even out on the streets. We got so many people saying hi, coming by to stop and just to say hi to us and to thank us. And so definitely the community, I think, is the best part of this place.
I think my favorite part about living in Fishers is being a part of this community. I live in Fishers, I teach in Fishers, my kids go to Fishers High School. I just feel really welcome here. I really feel like Fishers is doing a lot of awesome work in including everybody in our community and diversity work. So I just think that we really live in a special community.
My favorite part about being in the community is the people. Everybody who lives and works here really just has that sense of community and spending time doing fun things and joining in together for concerts and festivals, and the community here is really energetic and fun.
My favorite part of being in the Fishers community is seeing my adult children reflect the values of the Midwest. We retired from the Navy here in 1994. They were students at Hamilton Southeastern High School. They went to Indiana University, and we thought it was going to be a great place to raise a family. My favorite part, absolutely the values, the traditions, the customs of the city. I love this place. It's a good place to live. It's a good place to have people visit. And most people, when I see them in town and they're responsible to no one except their own personal opinions and feelings, say, how you doing? They go, this is beautiful down here. And I go, yeah, it sure is.
You know, I love the Fishers community because of the diversity. And it's new, it's a fairly young and energetic community. I love the growth and the progress. You know, I can remember when 116th Street was just a two-way street. You know, when I got married in 2001, we bought our first house in Fishers, and so it just, for me, it represents home where I am working, where I live and raise my family. It just is comfortable and it feels safe and warm. I'm so proud to be a part of this community. I'm so glad to, as I mentioned, work and live and be able to raise my family in a community like Fishers.
My favorite part, speaking from a law enforcement officer, my favorite part is how we were received by the community, especially in the times that we're currently going through as law enforcement. I just think the overwhelming support that we get from our community is, it's just a joy.
I think the biggest thing for me is the amenities, if I can use that term. When we first moved to Fishers, we lived just in the northern part of Marion County at Geist. And we selected a lot in Fishers just off of 104th Street. But at the time, the town had just migrated to city status. It was growing, it was vibrant. There were a lot of parks in the area. And the thing that really impressed me was in close proximity to where we built our home are the multi-use trails and the Bee Camp Creek, the nature trail. And I walk almost on a daily basis, and you can walk safely on these multi-use paths and on the nature trail, and it's just really a treasure, that trail, a natural area with a flowing stream and a nice walk path. So it's very nice. I really enjoy the amenities that Fishers offers.
My favorite quote on vocation and calling is that it's a place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So my advice is to be open to where the world is hurting and to think about what you love to do, what you enjoy to do, what you're drawn to, and see where those things intersect. It might not be big or flashy, but you'd be amazed at how the little things can make a world of difference. Honestly, it takes a village. Every job in our hospital is important in serving our community. No task, seen or unseen, is too small to make a difference.
Make sure you prepare yourself mentally for what's going to happen. it's your job to bear these burdens of the problems daily that you're going to respond to. So you need to prepare for that, and you need to prepare your family for that too. Your family is going to be involved in that also. Just know and understand that it's not just physically doing stuff, but there's a lot of mental preparation, and there can be a lot of mental stress that comes with this job.
The advice I'd give someone who's looking to serve in this community is do it, and get involved and meet new people, and make our city better. If you're jumping in and you are helping our community and connecting with people, it really makes our community a better place.
Just be yourself. I hear sometimes people say that the change to do stuff, and just be yourself. Continue to work hard. If you have a knack to wanting to help, definitely that would be the advice I'd give. Just to strive on that stuff.
The advice that I have for someone who's interested in public service is to put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're serving. Understand that every time that you interact with someone, whether it be to help them or to answer a question or to give any kind of assistance, every time you interact with someone, you're interacting with someone's mom, someone's daughter, someone's dad, someone's sister. So those people are important to other people in their lives, and how would you want your grandma to be treated? And that's how you should treat someone else when you're in public safety.
You know, I think sometimes when we think about opportunities to help, we think about these grandiose ways that we can contribute. And I think in the big scheme of things, it's the little things that make a difference. When people share their gratitude about what we've done, whether it's with the health department or with healthcare, I'm always humbled by the fact that oftentimes it's things that I think that we don't recognize are truly the big things. It's the little things that are the big things that really make the biggest impact. It's the hugs, the touches, the well wishes that I think make the big difference. And so if you want to contribute or help in a community, think about the things that you're passionate about. There is no task that's too small. We're all in this together, and all of the small collective acts of kindness and build up to something really amazing.
My advice for someone who wants to be involved in the military is 100% to do it. There's so many good things coming from having been in the military. It's not just setting you up for a career. It's not just getting a job. But for myself, I needed some discipline. I needed a way of doing things. And the military was perfect for me in that manner. And it gave me some qualities like some different types of integrity, honor, and understanding of service before self, and then just doing excellence in everything you do. And I would speak with someone who's been in the military, so whatever branch you decided to join, speak with someone who's been in that branch, and they can give you a lot of good advice.
If you're looking to serve in your community, I think the first thing you got to identify what is it that you're trying to accomplish and what would be the best fit and what direction or what should you align yourself with to get that purpose or that goal accomplished. Knowing your community is a very big part, and knowing what you bring, your best qualities that you can bring to the community is also something important to know.
Well, I think it starts at home. It's such a cliche, but if the home environment is conducive to talking about things around a homestead, a school, a community, a town, and there's values that are shared, I think that's a great place to start. I know to great satisfaction that the city is starting a patriotic working group. We had a first meeting a couple weeks ago. Deputy Mayor Elliot Hultgren is chairing that, and there were students from high school attending and participating, and there's a conscious effort to engage that generation and all the generations inside the city of Fishers in things patriotic. And how do you define it? We're going to be talking. We're going to be learning from one another about what that means. And we want to just go ahead and I use the term catcher's mitt, that there's a ball out there called involvement that people are throwing around. Do we have a catcher's mitt for things patriotic or for service to others? It's a novel concept. It used to be bread and butter in the country, but nowadays it seems it's a little less popular. So the city's making a conscious effort. Talk to people. Policemen are very approachable. So are veterans when they wear a ball cap or a jacket that says something that most of the time you can walk up and say hello to them and ask what their story is and learn. So if the city creates an environment where that conversation, that two-way engagement can happen, I think that's a real plus.